Welcome to this video on American Indian history in Kansas. Over 20 Native American peoples have called Kansas home. Tribal history is divided into three periods: pre-1830, 1830 to 1870s, and post-1870s. 8 tribes are considered native to Kansas in the pre-1830 period, including the Arapaho, Cheyenne, Comanche, Kansa/Kaw, Kiowa, Osage, Pawnee, and Wichita. All were eventually removed to Oklahoma. The Arapaho and Cheyenne were nomadic tribes that entered Kansas following the buffalo. Comanche were seasonal visitors with no permanent settlements in western Kansas. Efforts are underway to revive the Arapaho language. The Cheyenne were involved in the last Native American battle with whites in Decatur County in 1878. The Kiowa were pushed south by the Sioux and relocated to an Oklahoma reservation by the Medicine Lodge Treaty of 1867. The Kansa/Kaw, a semi-nomadic tribe, combined farming with hunting, using horses to hunt buffalo. They were relocated to Oklahoma in 1873, and today, no full-blood members or native speakers remain. The Osage dominated southeast Kansas and surrounding areas. They were relocated to a reservation in Oklahoma in 1870, but maintained control of their land and mineral rights, benefiting significantly from oil production. The Pawnee were enemies of the Kansa/Kaw, forced north to Nebraska, and then relocated to Oklahoma in 1874. The semi-nomadic Wichita were removed to Oklahoma in 1868. The 1830s to 1870s period saw Kansas become home to many immigrant tribes displaced from their original homelands in the eastern U.S. Plans to move Native Americans farther west began as early as 1803. In 1830, Congress passed acts forcing removal to make room for white settlement. While the Trail of Tears involved southeastern tribes, northeastern tribes were simultaneously moved to Kansas and Nebraska. This was because their land was valuable agricultural land, and the Kansas land was deemed unsuitable for white settlement. Today, the long-term removal program is evident in the reservation locations. Kansas has 4, while many eastern states have none. In 1829, the Delaware tribe from Ohio was the first to receive land in Kansas via treaty, later moving to Oklahoma by 1870. Other immigrant tribes included the Shawnee and Miami, who were also eventually moved to Oklahoma. The Peoria, Cascania, Piankashaw, and Wea tribes were also relocated to Oklahoma. The Ottawa, relocated from Michigan to Franklin County, were moved to Oklahoma in 1867. The Potawatomi from Indiana/Illinois have a reservation in Jackson County, where the Prairie Band remains. The Kickapoo's Kansas Reservation in Brown County still exists today. Both the Potawatomi and Kickapoo operate Indian gaming casinos. The Sac and Fox Reservation straddles the Kansas-Nebraska border in Brown County, and the tribe operates an Indian gaming casino. The Iowa tribe, originally from northern Iowa and southern Minnesota, also has a reservation on the Kansas-Nebraska line and operates an Indian gaming casino. The Wyandot, placed in Wyandotte County in 1842, suffered greatly from disease. Pressure from settlers forced most remaining members to Oklahoma in 1867. Today, the Wyandot tribe operates casinos in Kansas. The Chippewa had a small reservation established southwest of Ottawa and later reunited with other bands in northern states. The post-1870s period began, despite assurances that immigrant tribes would not be moved. This video explores the history of American Indians for settlement in 1854. The Arapaho and Cheyenne were nomadic, following buffalo into western Kansas. The Comanche tribes were moved to Oklahoma by the early 1870s. Made to revitalize the Arapaho language. Kansas is home to 4 tribal areas. The Cheyenne were involved in the final Native American battle with whites in Kansas in 1878. Land within these boundaries was often sold off by individual Native Oklahoma by the 1867 Medicine Lodge Treaty. The Kansa/Kaw were semi-nomadic, combining farming and hunting, before being relocated to Oklahoma in 1873. The Osage, dominant in southeast Kansas, were relocated to Oklahoma but retained control of their land and mineral rights, leading to significant oil revenue. The Pawnee, enemies of the Kansa/Kaw, were moved to Nebraska and then Oklahoma. The Wichita were removed to Oklahoma in 1868. Kansas has been home to over 20 Native American peoples. Tribal history is divided into 3 periods due to U.S. government actions. The pre-1830 period includes 8 tribes native to Kansas: Arapaho, Cheyenne, Comanche, Kansa/Kaw, Kiowa, Osage, Pawnee, and Wichita. All were removed to Oklahoma by the 1870s. Between 1830 and the 1870s, Kansas served as a temporary home for many emigrant tribes displaced from the eastern United States. This removal was proposed as early as 1803 by President Thomas Jefferson and mandated by Congress starting in 1830. Removal acts forced southeastern tribes along the Trail of Tears to Oklahoma, while northeastern tribes were moved to Kansas and Nebraska. The belief was that the eastern land was prime agricultural land, and the Kansas land was unsuitable for white settlement. Today, the concentration of reservations reflects this history, with Kansas having 4 and Oklahoma having 20. In 1829, the Delaware tribe was the first to sign a treaty for land in Kansas, but they were moved to Oklahoma by 1870. The Shawnee, Miami, and the related Peoria, Cascania, Piankashaw, and Wea tribes were also relocated from eastern states to Kansas, and then mostly moved again to Oklahoma. The Ottawa were relocated to Oklahoma in 1867. The Prairie Band Potawatomi still remains on its reservation in Jackson County, operating an Indian gaming casino. The Kickapoo also maintain their reservation in Brown County and have an Indian gaming casino. The Sac and Fox Reservation straddles the Kansas-Nebraska state line with a portion in Brown County. They, along with the Iowa tribe, whose reservation also spans the Kansas-Nebraska border, operate Indian gaming casinos. The Wyandot were placed in Wyandot County in 1842, suffering from disease and pressure from settlers, eventually moving to Oklahoma in 1867. Today, the tribe operates casinos in Kansas, exercising claims to historic property. The Chippewa had a small reservation in the 1850s before reuniting with bands in northern states. In the post-1870s period, despite promises, treaties were broken, and most emigrant tribes were moved to Oklahoma. Today, 4 emigrant tribes remain in Kansas: Iowa, Kickapoo, Prairie Band Potawatomi, and Sac and Fox. Individual land sales have reduced the amount of tribal-owned land within reservation boundaries. The dissolution of reservation lands was influenced by Charles Curtis, a Kansan with Native American ancestry who served as vice president. Curtis, born in Topeka in 1860, lived on the reservation as a child. He later became a wealthy attorney and successful politician. Curtis promoted the cultural assimilation of Native Americans. His notable legislation, the Curtis Act of 1898, dissolved reservations by allocating land to individuals, which often led to tribal members selling their land and becoming destitute. Curtis served as a U.S. Senator and later as Vice President under Herbert Hoover. Today, Indian gaming revenues are being used to buy back properties and address reservation dissolution. The Indian Gaming Act of 1988 allowed recognized tribes to operate casinos. All 4 recognized tribes in Kansas have casinos, with the largest being on the Prairie Band Potawatomi Reservation. Tribal membership requirements vary, though the Bureau of Indian Affairs often suggests a quarter Native ancestry. Some tribes use this figure, while others, like the Prairie Band Potawatomi, have a lower percentage or, like the Iowa and Delaware, have no fixed percentage. The Kansas/Kaw tribe, relocated to Oklahoma, is using gaming revenues to establish a cultural center near Council Grove, and recently oversaw the relocation of a significant cultural rock to their heritage park. Charles Curtis, a Kansan with Native American heritage, influenced the dissolution of reservation lands. He was born in Topeka in 1860, had Kansa, Osage, and Potawatomi ancestry, and spent time on the reservation. Curtis went on to be a successful lawyer, congressman, and U.S. Senator. Curtis believed in cultural assimilation and spearheaded the Curtis Act of 1898, dissolving reservations and allotting land to individuals. This often resulted in Native Americans selling their land. Curtis served as vice president from 1929 to 1933. Indian gaming revenues are helping tribes buy back land and mitigate reservation dissolution. The Indian Gaming Act of 1988 allows federally recognized tribes to operate casinos. All 4 Kansas tribes have casinos, with the largest on the Prairie Band Potawatomi Reservation. Tribal membership often requires a quarter Native ancestry, though requirements differ among tribes. The Kansas/Kaw tribe is utilizing Indian gaming revenues to acquire land for a cultural center near Council Grove. They successfully requested the return of a significant red rock to be placed at the Allegawaho Heritage Memorial Park.